Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're the hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every day, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can view all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues that affect you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
Good evening, everyone, to the Plan Commission meeting for August 2024. The first thing is to call to the order. And do we have quorum? Yes, we have quorum. And the only person absent is Alder Gerhard with excuse. So next we move to the approval of the minute.
I'll move approval of the minutes.
Second.
Second by Stephen Heller. So any question, comment? All those in favor of approving the minutes from the July 16 meeting, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. So next we move to item number 3, public appearances for non-agenda item. Is anyone here who wishes to speak in non-agenda item? You are registered for 5A. Where? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, come on, David. So you have 3 minutes. Let me see, David. Okay.
So I wanted to speak about the council meeting where the council did a power grab on the Plan Commission's powers. So what essentially happened was that without any substantive legal advice from the city attorney, what we saw, if you look at the video, was the city administrator saying that he spoke to the city attorney and then relayed a very vague hearsay opinion from that city attorney. Whether or not the council may pass an amendment to the comp plan without a corresponding approval from the Plan Commission. 30 seconds on the internet saying, is there a case or an opinion about such a thing? And here's the answer. It's an opinion from the League of Wisconsin Municipalities, which has been in existence for over 100 years, and it's in the business of helping municipalities. Fitchburg is not a member, but opinions like this are one of it's stock in trade. And what does it say? It says whatever every other opinion and every other document from other planning agencies I've seen, which is, no, it certainly does not. The state statute's very clear. And when a state statute speaks to some particular requirement, it overrides any local implementation of that statute. So the statement was made that the plan, the comp plan contains language that allows the council to amend it without a Plan Commission amendment. It looks just like the state statute. That's not true. This opinion says it's not true. So the question is what's going on here? Why didn't the mayor, to whom the attorney reports, or on Alder ask for a written opinion? That's the job of the attorney. The way this should have went was written opinion submitted to everyone. Everyone can look at it. Then there's a well-considered argument about what that means. Yes, there is some uncertainty, but there seems to be a unanimity that it is not the case that the council can unilaterally do this. But what you saw was chaos, I don't know. He knows. She knows. I don't know. The attorney said. Well, the attorney said it's a wash. Don't know. Then later on, the administrator said the attorney said it's likely. Which was it? You, as the Plan Commission, need to stop this right now. You let it start, it's going to continue. The single most important thing you can do is, as a body, you are allowed by state statute to vote to ask the city attorney for a written opinion. That's the key right here, right now. Get the attorney on the record. If you do that, you've got a fighting chance to keep your autonomy and your power. If not, it'll whittle away little by little. And I thank you for all the time you put in, and I appreciate everything that you do, which is why I'm here trying to ensure that you continue to be able to do it. I've got copies of the opinions. You can pick them up whenever you like.
Thank you, David. I want to clarify that we are a member of the League of Municipality, and we pay more than $14,000 a year in subscription. So, okay. So next we move to the agenda review. Any comments, questions? No? Okay, so we are going to move to agenda items. I'm going to open the public hearing and consideration of Comprehensive Development Plan, CDP-2559-24, request by Greg Hell, agent from FACTv Land, LLC, to amend the Highfield Reserve Comprehensive Development Plan to allow for the high-density residential development on the property located at 5335 Noble Drive. So we have a couple of people that they wish to speak in this matter. I will call David Haidt first. And then I will call David Fahey.
So my issue isn't really an issue per se with the CDP. I just want everybody to be clear what that CDP needs to show. So the property in question was added as an amendment to the Dane County Water Quality Plan, which is an element of the Clean Water Act. And as condition of that, the DNR approves it. That's this document. It sets conditions, so there are some stormwater conditions in there that go beyond the city's stormwater ordinance. And I want everyone to be clear that that's the case. So one is recharge volume. That's one issue. But the second issue is a little bit more subtle, and why I wanted to speak to it. So the DNR sets the conditions. One condition that it set was that the city and the developer make a good faith attempt to infiltrate 90% of the pre-development runoff volume into the ground before it goes into Swan Creek, which is now impaired for phosphorus coming right out of the Quarry Hill stormwater ponds. 2018, first time it was so declared. And the key here is that this is the permit that sets the requirements for the city to be able to discharge its stormwater runoff from its storm sewer system into the waters of the state. It says that the city must implement a plan and a program that is congruent with the Dane County Water Quality Plan recommendations. So in this letter from the DNR, it has conditions of approval, and then it has recommendations. That's where the 90% groundwater, pre-development groundwater infiltration runoff standard sits. It's in here not as a condition of approval of the amendment, but as a recommendation that goes into the Dane County Water Quality Plan. This permit says the recommendations to the Dane County Water Quality Plan must be implemented by the city. So that means that the city and the developer must work together to put together a good faith effort to infiltrate most of the stormwater runoff into the ground. And then, since Swan Creek is polluted for phosphorus, TMDLs, the MMSD adaptive management program provisions need to be met. Excuse me. None of those are supported by Chapter 30 in the city code. So there's a problem, because even if the city decides it wants to follow the permits, it has no legal authority to do so. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next, David, and then I have Fred Roos, he's in support of this. You want to speak too?
I'm probably your third one on there, Tom
Tom.
Kaldenberg. I'm with
Oh,
Kenothi. I'm with Kenothi Bruce Architects. I'm filling in for Greg Hill this evening.
okay, Tom
Greg is out of town.
Kaldenberg. Okay, he wishes to speak and answer questions. Okay, so, okay, go ahead.
So I don't know how much of this you want me to do or you want. So I'm going to call it step 2 in our process for lot 144.
1 second.
So
We're trying to, okay, there, okay.
I don't need to continue.
We need it.
This is I'm going to call it step 2, and I may be wrong. We had the zoning approved, or future land was approved a year ago, and this is the next step coming in with the CDP. And then we'll have another third step or fourth step as we get after this on the plan. So it's 5 acres. We're proposing to split it into high density and medium density areas. And then we are proposing, I think it's 116 units on the high density
Correct, 116.
side of the lot. So I don't know how much else you want me to cover.
That's it?
I can answer questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Okay, Deanna.
David did quite well there. So last year, Plan Commission and Council approved a minor comp plan amendment to change the future land use here to high density and then medium density residential. This is the next stage. This is an amendment to the original Highfield Reserve Comprehensive Development Plan. So as David noted, on the northwestern side of the site, they're proposing multifamily. On the southeastern side of the site, there'll be stormwater drainage and a yet to determine future user. So staff does recommend approval of the comprehensive development plan with 6 conditions.
Okay. So I close the public hearing, and now I open the floor to the commissioners. Question, comments? Can I ask a question about what was the comment that David Haight mentioned about the stormwater and all of that? Can you explain all the process that we had to go to?
Yeah, I can certainly try. So at this level, at the CDP level, of course, when Highfield Reserve came forward, there was broad initial planning done with that comprehensive development plan on stormwater. Traditionally, the Plan Commission isn't actively involved in review of those stormwater. Your friendly staff is not experienced with stormwater and to be able to make a judgment of what's right and what's wrong. So generally what is happening in the background before one of these applications come before Plan Commission, our engineering team has reviewed plans. Generally at the high level for CDP, there's just kind of some high level initial stormwater plans so that the engineers can kind of have a general understanding of how much green space and detention might be needed at this particular time. In this case, for the Highfield Reserve project, as they're building out the proper amount of stormwater facilities as the different sections of development is happening. Like I said, the details of those requirements and meeting those requirements are generally not brought before Plan Commission or Council. That's done in the review process between our engineering team and the developers' engineering team. You want to say something, David?
No, they've already looked at that, and it will be, as normal, all the ponds are I'll call them two-phase with a settling basin pond and then an infiltration pond. So we understand that, and they've already started to look at the calculations on this. We don't have the final design, but the stormwater engineers have looked at it, and it's the same ones that have done everything else in Highfield Reserve.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I am
Jim.
asking for clarification if people are looking at,
Yes,
watching this meeting and they say,
aware
yeah, we are
of-
missing a step here. No, we already.
We're
have
already,
that.
The
but
step
we
is
need,
happening.
we need this
Yeah.
step to determine the calculations of the impervious surfaces and the calculations. It's, sometimes you gotta do one step before you can do the second step.
Okay. Any question, comment? No? All those in favor of,
Well, do we have a motion?
motion.
motion.
Oh,
I
don't
move
have
approval
to-
of Comprehensive Development Plan CDP 2559-24 with the
Second.
6 conditions as noted by staff.
So we have okay.
All right, second.
Thank you. So all those in favor of the Comprehensive Development Plan CDP -25-59-24, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. So next, okay, I need a motion for the next one.
We've generally been taking the motion after the discussion.
Okay. So now we are discussing the minor PDD amendment, Irish Field Lot 270, request by Greg Hell, agent from FACTv Glen LLC, to obtain a minor PDD modification to allow for the expansion of a building on Lot 270 of Irish Field, a property associated with 5378 FACTv Glen. Okay, so what is this, Diana? Do we have anyone to?
You go.
Oh, you go. Okay.
We got the
So-
same team
Oh, the
here.
Same
Okay.
team, so I stayed put. So this is, as we move into our second phase on Irish Fields, the building 4 is going from a 48-unit building to a 52-unit building, adding 6 units with additional parking, additional bike space, and basically that's what we need the approval for, in a nutshell.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can
Yes,
jump in.
okay.
So
Yeah.
Plan Commission has approved Plan Development District for all of Irish Fields. This is the lot that you looked at just previously is sitting up here. The northern buildings are in and renting right now. And so what is before you this evening is a PDD modification. So this is a minor change to the SIP that Plan Commission may choose to do without going through an entire Plan Development District update that would also go to council. So staff believes this is a minor change. What is happening is this building, as David mentioned, they're adding, it's a 3-story building. They're adding 6 units to the building is what they're doing.
Okay. So this one is, can you explain, David, this is our townhomes? No.
The building 4, which is the main building that we're adding the 6 to, is a multifamily building. The other 4 buildings to the south are
that one.
6-unit with garages. They'll all have their own entrance with garages underneath. So the 6 times 4, the 24 to the south will be
Townhome.
individual 6-unit plex. I don't know if you.
Okay, duplexes. So my question is for the multifamily, are you planning to do an underground parking for the multifamily?
Yes.
Okay.
And we added 9.
Okay.
9 stalls for within the 6, in addition to the 6 units.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Shelley.
So I'm confused, is the only change adding those 6 units, or the townhomes across the street are new too? Or it's just the,
Townhomes are not
6
changing.
units.
just the 6 units? Okay.
Yep, that's all we're doing this evening.
Let's see if has a question.
All the documents that were listed, it looks like it used to be 224 units. Was that not, that was original plans and not what we did in the last approval?
Yeah, that was the original layout from when we had the CD.
Oh, because it's confusing. We have a choose. I get it.
Yeah, because it looks like, you have one big building adding
Yeah.
6 units, but actually I'm looking at two 24-unit buildings that is a very different footprint in there. And so I'd like
Yeah.
to talk through what changed and when. Because
Yeah.
if this is what we approved previously, this is a much bigger change. But if you're saying that the last time that we approved something for this site plan, that it was more in one larger 3-story building.
As I recall, this is that you've all approved the larger building.
Maybe we are confused with because this is
I'm
Irish.
confused.
This is this is Irish Fields.
The original, when we did the original layout for Highfield
Yeah.
Reserves,
Yeah.
we penciled in 2 24 units. When we came in with the CDP, or
This one is confusing.
we had a
It's
46 unit building, or
This is not.
Oh,
unit.
I see what you're
We-
saying. The graphic that we
The graphic
used.
that we have in our
was the initial layout from the high
Yeah, like all the
1,000.
line is all the 224. That's what I'm wondering, like, if this is what we're referencing for materials, I would have thought we would have had a new draw up of the one that we actually should be working from or
so this
had
is wrong.
most lately approved.
This one belongs to the other one. This one belongs to this one. Isn't it?
No, I guess I'm not totally following.
If you go to the supporting documents that are linked from the agenda,
Okay.
like the supporting document, scroll through that, and you're down to like page, I don't even know where I'm at, 22
Okay.
is one example. Is this not the same?
No, we don't have that.
You're on a different, okay, sorry, then I'm on a wrong attachment.
It's in, keep going, I know it was in the,
This is the.
or was it in the?
Got it.
Maybe it was with.
The attachment that I was looking at was from the last one, which was for the CDP, but showed the original plans, where then this one is the link with what you've been showing. So thank you. Okay.
I'm certain that this is essentially what you approved.
Yeah, I think he's saying that the first item that we just approved, it links to the original CDP that has the 24 units as shown.
So I was looking at that one thinking it was, the most recent plan, but now I see this and it's like, okay, this is actually the most recent.
Okay.
So just to clarify,
Oh,
this got updated previously to a single 48-unit building, and now we're adding 6
6
units
units.
to that to
Yes.
bring it to a single 54-unit building.
No, correction, it's 46 units originally.
It's
46 to 52.
To 52.
46 to 52.
Correct.
Got,
Oh,
okay,
I see.
thank you.
This is the old one.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Stop. Okay. Can we clarify what we're?
Okay, we attached the older CDP into your packet, but it's not consistent with what, as a reference, and it's not consistent with what Plan Commission has already approved. Plan Commission has approved the plan development districts and the ADR with the larger building, so. Yep.
Okay. So all the documents attached to the minor PDD in the packet are correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay. I want to. Okay. Okay. Question. Shelley.
so the reason I'm also confused along with that, but the memo says that the applicants are proposing an expansion along with the addition of 6 2-bedroom units. So that's why I wasn't sure.
It was probably my poor wording.
Oh, okay.
That was probably my poor wording. They are expanding the parking, so they'll expand the building itself and build out the parking, the basement parking too.
Okay, so it is only a few units added to the big building, not the townhomes across?
It has
or
nothing to
anything?
do with
Okay.
the townhomes. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so, any other question? No? Okay, all those in favor of the minor PDD
Hold on, we
amendment?
gotta move.
I'll make a
Oh,
motion
sorry,
to approve the minor PDD modification request for Highlight Field Reserve.
I used to.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the minor PDD amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carried. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, so next we move to another public hearing and consideration of Comprehensive Development Plan CDP-2560-24. A request by Jeff Huntley, agent for Winger Real Estate LLC, to amend the Jamestown Quarry Comprehensive Development Plan to allow for a commercial and residential development on the property located off Fitchburg Road. Do we have anyone to? Yes, we have
Chris is online.
Chris Downson. He's with JSD. So do you want to make any comments, Chris?
Really just was going to mention that this is kind of just a revision to help make sure that we are following the right processes here for the CDP process. The previous CDP that we had provided doesn't necessarily overlap with a CDP that was associated with the previous Meyer development proposal. So this is really just to kind of button some things up and make sure that everything is good on our end as well as for the city here. So nothing significant has changed except that we are trying to capture the full area that was previously described in the Meyer CDP. And I'll let Deanna expand on that further as well, as she has a little bit more of the technicalities behind it.
Okay, Deanna. Thank you.
Okay, so this is essentially the exact same CDP that you approved earlier this year for Jamestown Quarry. We received a request from the landowner's attorney for a clarification of two things that stimulated the resubmittal of this CDP. The first item was concerned that we were more clear in including the infield area, and I can show you.
Can you show it?
Yeah, yep, we're going there. A little bit more clear that the comprehensive development plan definitely included this area. That was generally the intention, but sometimes attorneys need things a little more clear. So
yeah, we know them.
so that's the first thing, that we definitely were very clear that the comprehensive development plan area included this entire area, including here. So what that means in the document, Chris has added some additional language that this infield area, which staff is calling as a shorthand to discuss this project, we're calling this area the outfield as our shorthand, and this area as the infield as our shorthand. So I'm sorry if I slip into the terminology that staff has been using just as a shorthand. So we wanted to make sure that this area was definitely included in the comprehensive development plan boundary area, because this is a recorded document. And so the text has been updated to reflect that into this parcel. It's just staying the same as what it currently uses. There's not a change of use proposed in the CDP. It's just recognizing this area. So that's the first thing, the boundary. The second thing is the attorney really wanted to be very clear that once this CDP is recorded, and that is the intention here, that the previous CDP approved by Plan Commission and Council and recorded for the Meyer development in 2020. It's CDP 234520 that was done in 2020 was null and void. So, so those are the two major things here. Sorry for the confusion. What we're doing here is trying to dot our I's and cross our T's, essentially.
Okay.
So staff does recommend approval with those 9 conditions.
Okay, so I closed the public hearing. So now to the Plan Commissioner, any question, comments? Okay.
I'll move approval of Comprehensive Development Plan CDP 2560-24 with the 9 conditions as recommended by staff.
I need a second.
Well, hold on 1 minute. Shelley has a question. Yep, sorry.
Yeah, you're picayune, but you referred to the Meyer CDP as 2345, and I just want to make sure that was just you didn't state it right because it's 54 in here.
It's 54.
So okay.
Yep. That's my.
Yeah, okay.
I second.
Okay. All those in favor of the consideration of the Comprehensive Development Plan CDP-2560-24 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. So next, we had to postpone D, E, and F. So
but we do need to because
staff
hearing? Has already did the public hearing.
Okay.
And we posted the public hearing. We'll need you to go ahead and open the public hearing for the both conditional use permits, and then I would like a motion to just postpone each of the items too. So if we could just walk through first and open the
So I
conditional
will open
use.
the public hearing and consideration of conditional use CU-2563-24, request by Wade Wise, agent from Team O'Brien, to obtain a drinking places and restaurant conditional use permit in association with an athletic facility specifically applicable on property associated with 2747 South Seminole Highway. So I will close the public hearing and...
So I would like to
you want to explain why we are...
Oh, yeah, sure. But I would like to, I would request of the commission a motion to both postpone the conditional use until September and then also postpone the ADR until September. So, and you could do those together. Yeah. But I can explain what's going on here.
Okay.
Yep, I can certainly do this. So this is the pickleball facility that is proposed on Seminole, and last week there was some changes in the planning process and how the development would be built and funded. So the applicant has decided to shift to a design build in order to bring this project to fruition. But what that has meant is that they need to make some changes, slight changes in the footprint of the building itself and make it a bit smaller, change some of the layout. They're looking at some of the siding of the building too. And so there just wasn't enough time for staff to conduct that review before Plan Commission. So actually the applicants have submitted today an updated set of drawings that staff will have sufficient time to review and bring back to you in September. So that's why I am requesting, in September, so I would be requesting a motion to postpone both the conditional use and the ADR to our September meeting, and I was just going to go try to say that. 17th.
17? Okay.
I move to postpone conditional use CU-2563-24 and the corresponding ADR to our September meeting.
Second.
All those in favor of postponing the consideration use and the ADR, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay, so next I will open the public hearing and consideration of conditional use CU-2562-24 request by David Porto, agent of I don't know what it is. Chopia? How do you say that? I don't know. LLC to obtain a restaurant conditional use permit to operate a catering prep kitchen located on property associated with 5302 Anton Drive. No one is here to speak about that, so we are closing the public hearing. So, Diana, it's all yours.
Great. So this project is intending to move ahead. As Zach and I were preparing agenda, the applicant requested some additional time to negotiate with the property owner their terms, and so he just wasn't quite ready to bring forward this project until they had finalized their agreements. So this one I also would request that we postpone to the September 17th meeting.
Okay.
Can I ask a question of this one?
Sure.
So this is moving towards a catering prep kitchen. Is that the plan? Do we know, is that the plan for this location? Is to just kind of have a catering setup for potentially like revolving groups to work out of the kitchen? Or is there a plan to open a permanent restaurant establishment or anything like that?
The conditional use request is not for a restaurant. The conditional use request is for a catering kitchen for Blue Plate Catering, and I think they're rather large caterer. And I think they just see this as a great opportunity for locating their business here. So.
And this is the building where Little John.
Right. So is that no longer going into that space?
No.
So this is kind of a full replacement of that then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I move to postpone consideration of conditional use request CU-2562-24 to the September meeting.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of postponing conditional use CU-2562-24 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay, so next we move to G. This is a certified survey map CS-2561-24 request by Wade Wise, agent from Quantum Leap LLC, to obtain a certified survey map approval to create 2 lots from one existing lot on property associated with 4999 West Clayton Road. Okay, what is this, Diana?
Yeah. I think so.
Who is here? Oh, here, we have someone on. Okay, where is
I don't have.
we have another one. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I have it here. Sorry. So we have Thomas Ripple from Ripple Management. So do you want to speak, Thomas?
No, ma'am. I would just be available if there was a question.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay. All right. This this is a proposal to take an existing residential lot. It is a lot that's zoned RL. And divide it into 2 RL parcels. The existing parcel is currently developed with 1 single-family residence. If divided, the existing property with the house would remain in compliance with the city's zoning and land division ordinance. The new parcel would be subject, to the same regulations. Staff's only concern was the status of the wetland to the rear of the site. The property owner has provided a wetland delineation to show that the wetland, is not on the property and that the house could be sited without impacting the wetland. So staff does recommend approval of the CSM with 11 conditions. And if you're kind of familiar, it's up on West Clayton, and this is the parcel here. Here's Herman Road. So what is being proposed is there's a house on this existing lot, and then this would be creating a second lot that would be in compliance with our zoning.
I have a question. There are some plans to extend Herman Road, isn't it?
I am not, I think there's been some discussion about that, but at this point, I
No?
don't have any
Because that one is-
specific
okay,
plans
okay.
to do that.
I have a question about the reference to high density in the consistency with comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
So is this on the future land use plan as high density? And if so, what would that require to actually have apartments built on that lot?
Well, yes, that is the future land use. And at this point, to do multifamily, there'd probably have to be a consolidation of different lots. We certainly couldn't rezone. There isn't, we would, right now, the land division is consistent with the zoning.
Okay.
If they wanted to rezone to something else, they'd have to rezone consistent to this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so, okay, so I know that there are some
I think
plans-
maybe, Mayor, maybe you're referring to this section here of
Yeah.
road that could possibly come
Yes.
through.
So that one is in the
This is the current property boundaries, yeah.
which one? That
This
that
one.
one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so what's proposed is to subdivide this
that
particular
one, that
lot
one.
is
Ah,
what
that
we're
one.
subdividing,
Okay.
is this one.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's exactly what we're subdividing.
Oh, okay. So maybe the alignment there of the Herman Road is incorrect.
It certainly could be, it's not surveyed right there. or
Okay,
anything.
that one it was confusing. Okay. Any question, comment? No? Okay. I need a motion.
I move to approve certified survey map request CS-2561-24.
Second.
Any additional question, comment? No? Okay. All those in favor of the certified survey map, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Okay, so next we move to report from department. Okay. We are going to start with the neighborhood plan update.
Well, thank you all. I will jump into this. We had a little bit lighter agenda this evening, so I thought it might be appropriate for us to for staff to provide a short update on where we are in terms of the neighborhood plans. I'll start off with South Stoner neighborhood plan. I've included in your packet the current proposed land use plan. This is where staff is right now. Where we are right now is that we've asked for some final comments from the steering committee. And there's been some minor comments that we've received back from the steering committee. So bringing this forward to you all for your comments, questions. The next step in our process is to really finalize this land use plan, take it back to the steering committee on September 26th, and then move into the engineering portions of the neighborhood plan, where we'll look more closely at stormwater, traffic, utilities. So in summary here, we're showing an extension of Commerce Park Drive, some business park, some neighborhood mixed use. The kind of crazy diagonal lines here represents a couple of different options. We're showing in blue the potential for a light before a school. If that does not come to fruition, This entire area could become business park and then or high density residential. So it's showing a couple of different options depending on where things land with the school. Showing a major collector east-west and then a major collector B east-west. Showing some significant park and stormwater areas. So we're here to take questions.
Yeah, I have a question about this. Lazy Road is a transit, the corridor. So I don't know why we are not putting all the high density over on Lazy Road and bring the business park more like a south, because eventually, who knows when, it's going to be public transportation there. You want to have the density close to the corridor. So that one is one of my comments.
Okay.
And a school, I don't think that it's going to come a school because we have the Lazy Road parcel on the Lazy Farm. They are already purchased the Verona School District to build the high school, and also the Verona School are purchasing more land on the Anton Drive neighborhood to build the elementary school. So I don't think that it's going to be another school there coming. I don't know. But this is my only comment is why we don't put the high density on Lazy and bring the business park, more, under the density. I don't know.
What's the NMU on the?
That is neighborhood mixed use. So that would be a mix of higher density residential with some commercial, more like coffee shop, smaller kind of neighborhood commercial. Wouldn't be like a Costco or something like that, but some things that would be more friendly at the neighborhood level for commercial.
I have a question. Is the Stoner Prairie Steering Committee still meeting? Because I haven't been getting notifications of the meetings, number one.
No, that it hasn't met yet.
Okay,
for a while.
so I didn't miss anything. Good.
Nope.
So my question or comment would actually be a historical comment that goes back to us as a city trying to do infill development as we build out the neighborhoods we've already planned. And one of the issues that we always ran into is it seemed like the single family would develop first, and when it came time to put the multifamily in, the neighbors freak out. Yeah. And what concerns me about this is seeing where we have a planned single family neighborhood that has no transition. It goes right from single family to HDR in that band there. So unless the green space that's directly above that is where that huge grade change is, and this is basically 30 feet lower than the single family on the other side, I think we're going to run into issues with that. I also was wondering why we had the business park and the school on the left side of Commerce Park Road versus on the right side. It would seem like we would want to put the residential stuff
I don't know if
more
I should
to
go
the middle.
back and forth
but
on
anyway,
all this, but yeah.
Those would just be my comments.
Yeah.
You have comments, Steve?
I was going to say very similar, because I remember that project coming before us, but I don't know if we have, they never went to like actual planned development or anything, did they, or do a CDP, this area where it says planned single family neighborhood? I know that we've seen plans for that over the years, but nothing has come through in probably at least a year. And so what I'm getting at is that's not exactly locked in stone. So I'm just wondering, to your point, usually we build with high density in the corners, you build it outward. But as we were talking, I can also see an argument for getting some of that traffic not at the intersection, and let single families kind of be up in this little like almost cove because there's not going to be much access, coming off of Lacey right there because of the grade change getting down towards Fitchburg. But in general, it doesn't feel quite right. But I don't know. I tend to agree though that it feels like we're putting in high density just up against things that you wouldn't normally want to plan that way.
Are you doing this because where is called purple color is the Yahara materials, and they really don't want to see you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So yes, so part of this On both sides of Commerce Park is Yahara Materials, and they have adamantly fought against Business Park. They don't want Business Park. They want the residential. So staff's trying to kind of balance that. Totally understand the comment about the transition. This area right here up on Lacey of Payne and Dolan, I don't know, it's probably maybe even 2017, but it was a long time ago. But Plan Commission did approve a CDP for that.
It was like 21, 20. You know, it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't too.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, there is an approved CDP on that. Payne and Dolan have not provided any timelines or expressed any interest in redesigning.
Do they have an expiration date? Maybe we should put some expiration date.
There is not an expiration date on a CDP.
Okay.
And I think, they've already done, going back to stormwater, they have done a lot of engineering already too in here. So they're going to be kind of reluctant to change that, but anything can change.
So can you speak to is there a natural kind of break along what would be the western edge of that currently planned business park region?
Right now, it's kind of showing it this way because there is a natural break there. Right now, we have a quarry here, which is currently the Payne and Dolan quarry, and then the Yahara quarry is building out or taking out stone. And the two companies have not been able to, at this point, come to an agreement to take down the wall between them.
What do you mean the wall?
I mean the wall. So when a quarry takes out stone, they dig down. Once we get back here, there'll probably be a 60-foot wall, rock wall. And so there would be a rock wall through this area, a wall on this face, and then a face over here, probably separated by a few hundred feet.
But okay, so that's good context, I guess. So what I'm hearing is it doesn't seem like there's going to be a natural break between kind of that western edge and that potential single-family neighborhood, pending whatever comes of Payne and Dolan's decision down the road.
No. There would not be.
If they were to come forward then with design and were to move forward with the single family, would we try to institute some type of greenway in between the two then?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We haven't got to looking at the specifics of trails. That's one of the things that we heard from the community is trails and green space. Our study area technically stops right here, but yes, that's kind of our next step. But I will take a note and make sure that there is more of a green space transition between Business Park and the single family.
And I was just going to point out that the topography here is also, I'm sure, a real pain to try and plan anything around. So I feel like I'm calling your baby ugly after I know how many meetings and stuff you've done to kind of, hone this in. So I was going to say, sort of, I guess, waffling a little bit on my last comment about the corner, because really, if you wanted to plan this out properly, we wouldn't have 4 existing kind of one-off little, I don't even know what they are, industry or commercial kind of buildings right up there in the corner. So while I don't love the fact that we're going from 4 individual properties to then single family to then high density, if we really wanted to do it proper, I think we would want to look at those properties as part of the plan. So I'm a little waffling on like, this isn't going to be perfect no matter what if we're going to leave those 4 sitting there.
Aren't those kind of Payne and Dolan related properties anyway? So I would imagine
one of the corners, and she's been before the Plan Commission before.
But that is an existing single family home, isn't it?
Yeah, it's yeah.
So the ones that kind of stretch down from that, I would imagine, are going to get
the one right in the
incorporated?
corner, it's like an open off. It's
That's a commercial? That's a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think she's an architect, if I don't remember, or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of a mixed use developments in here. I can just pull up the zoning.
But
Actually,
seemingly
it's all
something-
zoned business, actually.
Right, but not necessarily something so egregious that if you tried to move as much of that as possible to single family, that it'd be super disruptive, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay.
I have another comment. You know,
Yeah.
on the green space on Lazy Road, that park, I think we should move the density over there and bring the park in the middle of the neighborhood. You know?
So this park, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
well,
think-
that actually is the low spot, and it's gonna have to be drainage.
Oh, okay. So it's gonna be in a stormwater.
It's gonna be stormwater.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Maybe
'cause
you need to. Maybe
it's a-
you need to color it differently.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. That one I know it's just a stormwater.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're hire representative on the steering committee? And they don't want business park because they can't sell it for as much money? I mean, why do they care?
I think in their long-term development, I think per square foot of multifamily land is much higher than what business.
I want to mention something that I said before. In front of, north of Lazy Road, we created a tax incremental district number 18 that is a industrial business park district. So do we need to have more business park on the south part of Lazy Road? This is my question. Can we put more housing instead of a business park? I don't know. That one is...
Take your comment. We're trying to balance,
There's technically brown under there somewhere,
Our economic development team is also, while we do have business park to the north, our economic development team is also thinking about the long-term development too.
I get it, but how big is this the land? How many acres we are allocated to business park right now, according to this? Do you know? How many?
15.
What? 15?
Unless I read it wrong. 15.
Okay.
Or up to 36 acres in the hatched
Okay,
area.
so most of the business park, the site selector that they are looking for site, they are more than 50, 60, and 100 acres. You know what I mean? So I get what Mike said because we have that discussion in private, but I am also saying, what are most of the pressing issues that we have here, and it's more like housing. So, and it's not like a huge parcel for business park. If you remove the school, maybe, you know what I mean, that area,
then
you can make
would
it
go up
bigger.
to
Yeah.
36
Oh,
acres.
with the
hatched.
you include that part too.
Yeah, if you take the hatched area, it goes to 36 acres.
Okay. But I would prefer to put the high density on Lazy and bring the business park south.
Okay.
And I agree with Carol that if we build, we need to start building the high density so when people move with low density, they know where they are moving and, that there is a multifamily and their density, they don't complain later.
The one thought I have about your comment to move the business park, if it's a business park, there's obviously employees. And so it's also important to have that on a transportation corridor.
Yeah. No, I know.
So maybe it does make sense to have that there if you've got.
No, according to
next to it.
you do planning, when you want to you need to put the density, the people, on the big corridor. I don't know. Yeah, I understand your position, but
we'll take
employers too.
Yeah,
though.
I understand your position. Yeah.
We're trying to balance. We'll take your comments, review it with the team, Yeah, 15, I'm with you, 15 acres for business, that's pretty small for what a lot of the bigger businesses want, but, maybe it's more of, we have talked about maybe shifting the business park to that neighborhood mixed use more, doing some more of that. That does allow for more high-density housing in the neighborhood mixed use area. But sure, we'll.
Okay, and do you have any idea when you're planning to finalize this plan?
Our goal is to get final approval from the steering committee at the end of September, and then we would go forward with the engineering that I mentioned.
Okay.
And then once all that gets wrapped up, probably do one more neighborhood meeting, and then it should be at a position to bring forward to council.
It's going to come also to Plan Commission for approval?
Oh, yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
No.
You go first.
Okay.
We were reminded tonight. Yeah. Well, I'm happy to take any other questions and comments, and feel free to reach out to us too if you have some additional thoughts that maybe doesn't pop up right tonight. We're working towards getting a finalized land use plan here, trying to balance a lot of different factors.
I like seeing the medium high in there, by the way.
Yeah, we think that will work. You can see that's not apartment buildings. It's built off alleys. I think the staff team, MSA that we're working with, even for the medium high density, the medium density, we mostly see smaller apartment buildings and single family on alley. I think we're moving in that kind of direction. And it seems to be very desirable, and it seems to be very affordable. I shouldn't say more, but a little bit more affordable than larger lots. So, yeah. All right, I'm going to jump ahead to Greenfield then. In Greenfield, the trajectory is a little bit different. We had planned to have additional neighborhood meetings in Greenfield because we knew it would be a bit of a more of a challenge, given that the neighborhood plan is wrapping around an existing neighborhood. And true to form, this is a very challenging planning process. So at this point, staff is only on the level of 2 different concepts. We brought the 2 different concepts to the neighborhood at an open house meeting on July 31st. If interested, feel free to watch that. We have took a lot of comments from the neighborhood. As you might imagine, there's many concerns, very deep feelings about development in the neighborhood. So I'm bringing before you these 2 concepts. Happy to talk in detail about the two concepts, but just briefly, our next step is meeting with the Greenfield Neighborhood Plan Steering Committee on September 19th. We're going to take the 2 plans to them with all of the comments and thoughts and results from the survey, and hopefully hone in to at least one concept plan that the steering committee is comfortable with, is our hope, that we can get to a point where there's one plan that the steering committee can live with. We would take it back to a neighborhood meeting at that time, after that, if we have something that the steering committee is comfortable with, and that at least to the best of our abilities have addressed some of the concerns of the neighborhood. Some of the things that we have been hearing, of course, is concern about protecting agricultural land. That's what staff has tried to do with that is develop another kind of a new future land use category for us, which would be what we have called the agrihood. I think I've mentioned that. On our maps today here, they're referred to as farm, rural, residential areas in order to protect the agricultural farmland, but also just the overall feel for the neighborhood. One of the other concerns that we've heard from the neighborhood is the connection between the existing neighborhood and any new development. We've heard very clearly that the neighborhood does not want this connection here or here. Staff is recommending that those connections go away. And in respect of the concerns of the neighborhood, that probably will mean that we'll need to kind of rework this area to make more of a loop and another connection somehow kind of through here. We're not sure. We're still kind of working through that. One of the things that I have been an advocate for is the roadway to the north that would take some pressure off of Irish Lane. This has been met with some really deep concern about that. So right now, staff's kind of thinking that we might just keep the Irish Lane connection. Staff, in the future iterations, is going to not show an actual location for an interchange here. There's several different reasons for that. The most important reason is at this particular point, we just don't know where it really would work best to put an interchange. There really needs to be further study. Further study on where it would fit better just within this location, and if it does, and then further study on that east-west connection. So some of you might recall that as Lacey Road interchange was planned, the original thinking was that the connection between that proposed interchange would be to East Sherrill. That was not sufficient for the DOT. They wanted a stronger east-west connection across the entire city. And in talking with our engineering team, we just need to do more study if that's possible and where that would, to have that stronger east-west connection across the city. So at this point, it's likely that the plan would just refer to future study for a potential interchange, just without having anything really firm at this point. It's very difficult to put something on the map like that. So that, of course, has been one of the concerns. There's certainly a lot of concerns with even putting in a connection. This is showing a connection that would come off of Blaney Road. This is the Hartung development.
Okay.
And so one option is showing that there would be an extension of Blaney Road all the way down to Byrne Road.
Makes sense.
There's been quite a bit of opposition to that too. So staff's kind of trying to work through and hopefully be able to come out of steering committee with a reasonable path forward that at least the steering committee can get behind. It's challenging. So anyways, I'm here to answer any questions or take any comments on Greenfield.
Who is going first? Shelley.
Since you just raised the issue of the connector north-south from Blaney, in the ag meeting today, there was talk about how you couldn't really run the Cyene interceptor down there. It'd be a problem because there's so much wetlands, And so stormwater issues and some of the property owners have no interest in working with the city on any of that. Would just running a road or something have the same issues, I assume, going through the wetlands? So
Yes.
Wetland, where is wetland?
It's a little bit difficult to see, but
the headland, isn't it?
this kind of almost bluish, greenish, thin
okay.
line,
Yes.
those are all
Wetlands?
circling wetlands.
Okay. But you can build, a road, isn't it? In other parts of
I
the
mean,
country,
we
they
have,
they
yeah.
build
Lacey
entire
Road,
cities on wetland.
Lacey Road crossed the wetland.
Yeah,
there.
this is what I say. Okay.
So it's more the interceptor that would be the issue.
There's ways to do it.
Oh, for that also.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not cheap, and it needs to go through significant more approvals, but it can be done.
Okay. And just one other question, just as to how planning works. So with this east-west north of Irish, I thought I listened to one of the steering committees or some meeting, not the last public meeting, but I heard that, a lot of this I think is Stoneman property.
It is.
And that at least for 50 years they have no intention of selling it. So how do you plan when you're told that?
That's a really good question. So we're, as planners, we are trying to put together the best options for the future. Now, even to the north, the Stonemans never have to sell. No one is requiring anyone to sell. But what we try to do is look at if the landowners intend to develop or sell, this is the best path forward, is what we do.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Right, so you wouldn't put that infrastructure in until the
landowners
are already.
Okay.
Can you explain?
Yes, I can explain
Yeah,
the infrastructure.
I think I answered the question as I asked the question in my head. Thank you.
Yeah. So let me explain infrastructure and roads.
This is it's a plan.
Yeah. So when up here, right? So up here to the north, if you can kind of follow my cursor, that's the McGaw neighborhood plan, right? And that was adopted as a neighborhood plan. So long before the Fahey's sold to Viridian, this plan was in place. When Viridian came along and said, we're ready to develop the Fahey farm, we said, great, here's your outlines of your plan, and here's where you need to put the roads, here's where you need to develop your general stormwater areas. So what that means is that when we were prepared as a city to know how to best fit this into our road network, how to best fit this into our infrastructure, and what I mean by that, into our sanitary sewer systems, our water systems, because we had kind of laid out the general layout, and they weren't bringing to us, well, we want this. We've already kind of provided the outlines for it. So here, Viridian is building every single road and every single water line and sewer line. And here too, the city doesn't build this infrastructure. This infrastructure goes in only if and when this development happens to support it.
And also, we are looking 20 years. We are not, this is a plan for the, 10, 20 years, you know what I mean? So not, we don't have anything in front of us right now.
There is no developers.
We are planning for the future. That's it. This is also another confusion, that we are going to do this right away. No, we are planning for the future. That's it. Another question, because I want to be consistent with my comment, is Irish Lane is in 20 years, it's going to be maybe a huge connector. You know what I mean? More transit than there is now. So why don't we move some of the density on Irish Lane and we bring more of the low density to Cain Road? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't have the guts to change the future land use for these houses on Irish.
Oh, but this is already houses there? Already are houses
Yeah,
there? Oh,
these are all people live there.
Oh, okay. No, I thought that was like
I was not that brave.
No, I thought that they were like farmland or something like that. No, that one is okay.
So yes, all of this in the pale yellow.
Pale yellow, okay.
With the lighter lines, that is all existing properties.
Okay, I get it now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. So so why we don't move the density to the east where we have the railroad and a future, what is Blaney Road?
Yeah.
Well,
I think you bring up a really good question, and we certainly can. What staff is trying to kind of figure out, so all of this is existing.
Yes.
This is existing.
Okay.
This is wetlands.
Okay.
So staff is, trying to work our way through here.
It makes sense.
And then, of course, this is the Jones family, the Mark Jones family property.
So that one is rural residential.
Yep, that's our our staying in residential.
For, didn't he say 100 years?
That's what Mark has informed me this evening, 100 years.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
fine. But then, so that one, it makes sense that we have some high density on the east, close to the 14. No, what is the 14?
Yeah, this is 14. Yep,
okay.
sorry.
And between the 14 and the railroad is where we should have all the density. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So, okay, great. That's good.
I don't know. This is my. But also, maybe we should, what is the brown? The brown is medium high.
Yep, this one up here is the medium high. This is medium density, and this would be some low density.
So why you do move all these medium high density on north of Irish?
We certainly could. We were trying to make a bit of a compromise to the Stonemans, who have indicated they didn't want high density, and then. In here, there's some pretty steep slopes.
Oh, okay.
This is the big center point line right here that cuts through. And this is some steeper slopes and some woodlands that we were trying to manage our way.
So that one is wetland too?
Here is the wetlands.
Okay.
There really isn't wetlands that we've identified on the Stoneman farm. There certainly could be. There just hasn't been anything formally mapped at this point.
So we will take a look at the Greenfield neighborhood. We don't have to, because the yellow is a big neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So what we are trying to incorporate is it's not too many parcels. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
We don't have a lot of new development area, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, because it's more like, this is what we need to put, use maybe medium high, or high density.
We have got quite a bit of pushback for high density west of the rail line.
What is west?
This is the rail line, and we have gotten pushback on that. So,
but that one is already built. You say that area.
This area is
here.
High density. We've gotten pushback to put high density.
But we can put medium high density, if they are concerned with that. So we have a better blend, you know what I mean, from residential to medium high, and move the high density more to the. Where is the red one? What is the red?
That is just
commercial.
Some commercial. A little bit of commercial. I think we haven't gotten a lot of positive feedback about that, actually, either.
Well, with commercial, we need to have some commercial because eventually, we need to have like maybe a branch for a bank or a coffee shop, you know what I mean, in that area. We're thinking about
I think
20
that's
years.
what
You know what I
staff
mean?
was thinking about, kind of that neighborhood level.
A dentist or insurance company. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like,
We haven't gotten too much favorable response to that, I'll just say.
but this is what I said, Liana, we are looking, we are planning for the future. And,
That's true.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, to that end, a tactical question. Does it make sense for us to be spending this much time and attention in this area? I've got my future land use map from 2019, so maybe not completely accurate. We have a whole lot of other area that we've identified as possible future areas. At what point do you say, this is not worth the planning that we've gone through, and we're going to actually focus over here instead? I hate to ask that kind of a question this far in, but...
Yeah, I appreciate that you actually asked that question, and I'm going to go just grab my handy dandy map of the future urban development areas that we have, right? So, of course, McGaw has already we've done that neighborhood plan. Greenfield is the next one. We're working on South Stoner. This area has at least some preliminary plans for sanitary sewer. That's a big, big deal. And the preliminary plans and the current proposal and the current development of the Syene interceptor, which is the big pipe to collect all of the sewage that would come, and then it gets shipped off to MMFD, the Madison Metropolitan Sewage District. So our several years ago, and I think quite some time ago, I think even, when you all were working on the FUDAs, they looked at how we could provide sanitary service to a broader area and what that would look like, because what we do up here needs to be properly sized to serve down here, because everything's going north to Madison. Does that all kind of make sense? So we have planned for that big Syene interceptor that gets thrown around a lot, but the big Syene interceptor is going to come down through Hartung and then probably shift somewhere down through here, but then be able to service this whole area, and eventually it's actually sized to service a larger area. So the tricky part to your question, Stephen, is you might imagine it's very expensive to run one of these big, pretty pipes. And if there's no development in Greenfield to support that, it's very difficult to figure out how to pay for that kind of infrastructure. So Greenfield is like that first next step to start getting us farther down the original planned development corridor that was planned back in 2006.
And also is how you plan a city. You can the infill out. You cannot start building this neighborhood on the periphery of the boundary of the city, where you had to bring. It's very expensive to connect everything, even to provide services like police, fire, because we need to rethink about all of that too. I think that one is a natural, organic. Greenfield is an organic way of growing. If we go.
That was the thinking.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I get. As a project manager, the plan was a great plan. And at some point, you have to go, the project's not worth it, I'm cutting my losses, or I'm going to pivot so hard that it doesn't look the same project anymore. That's what I do. And so that's where I really appreciate that explanation, because I'm looking at a map and I'm going, well, if you go to the east, it's not that much further down. I get the concept of moving down, but the way that you just showed where the big poop pipe has to go, then got it. Okay.
Well, maybe that's then why most of the development should be to the east side of Greenfield. And then, I know you're wasting space by not building onto the west, but if you put more of it along one area, it's not like I wonder if the neighborhood would appreciate not having drops of big housing all throughout, and instead just have it more in a corridor.
I think staff is more than willing to look at I think one of our challenges, and you can see this challenge here, is that the complexity of the existing wetlands and topography. Unfortunately, it's challenging. I do think that the neighborhood would be more welcome to have lower densities on the west side.
I agree with you that bringing low density, but also I imagine a neighborhood like Highland or Seminole, or Terra Besa, where you have houses not in big lot. You know what I mean? You have low density or residential, but where you have, I don't know, a quarter of an acre, you know what I mean? That one is you create some sort of density, maintaining the low density, the residential, the
keeping
home.
the form. I think
form,
you're
you know what I
talking
mean?
about
But
the
I don't think that it's very expensive and environmentally bad land use to have one house in an acre parcel right now.
And
you know what I mean?
It's going to lead to faster urban sprawl, right? I mean, it is. It's less environmentally sustainable. It's kind of in the face of this idea that we shouldn't be eating up all this farmland, right? If we keep going solid low density, the spread is going to happen a lot faster than if we can get some mixed density into some of these spaces and be a little bit more responsible with the future planning of the land with the existing. I mean, the other thing about this is I fully appreciate that corridor that we're looking at from a transit perspective, and I'm looking forward to the planning for that. But from an infrastructure perspective, like we're getting at here, jumping an entire neighborhood and not thinking about the future of the fact that, what does that mean from connecting it to the service area, a continuity of service, all those pieces. I think it is, when you're looking at, we're also here to represent the future landowners in Fitchburg, right? And we're here to represent the variety of families we want to attract. And so I think of it in that way too, of building a neighborhood in the spirit of some of these other ones that have been stated.
Yeah, but I agree with you, but something that you mentioned that I never thought is like, we are protecting more farmland if we create a smaller lot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think of single-family acre lots as one of the most disrespectful uses of this sprawling farmland, right? And the idea that, it'd be wonderful if we could keep things along the transit corridor, but at the end of the day, I want to see those wetlands protected. And if I were in that neighborhood, I would love to have the ecosystem and the wildlife and everything that comes with that maintained, right? And so I think it is, I appreciate that. I feel like staff is really trying to strike a balance between all of the interests here, acknowledging that there's a lot at play. There's a lot of city, landowner, future residents. There's a lot to consider.
Any other comment? Zach, do you have any comment? No. Yeah? Okay. So you are fine with the two concepts?
Yeah, I mean, all the things that have been said, I hear them, and I agree with Josh here. I mean, I think having that density is important to use the space appropriately. So it's a tough situation. I mean, Carol called it out earlier. Once you have single family there, getting anything else in becomes hard. Yeah. And so I appreciate the struggle. I don't have a good answer or solution for it, though.
I really like the idea of the agri-hood. That one is a good concept. If we want to preserve that, you know what I mean? It's a good compromise to have that too, I don't know.
We had hoped so.
Yeah.
So is that single family? Acrehood?
No, it could be, but it would be clusters of houses surrounded by a field.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're looking at the map for Agrihood, that space, there will be single family homes there.
That would be the idea.
It's just in
Or
clusters.
townhomes or duplexes, you know what I mean? Something like that, but they're clustered. Okay, so I think we are, thank you very much, Diana, for the update. So next we move to Oh, the farmland preservation zoning ordinance.
Okay, staff has been working, every 10 years, the state requires Fitchburg to recertify our exclusive agriculture zoning district. So our last certification was in 2014. What certification does is allow Fitchburg farmers to apply for tax credits if they so choose. So I'm not aware that a significant number of farmers in Fitchburg apply for those tax credits, but we of course want to maintain that opportunity for our farmers to apply for those tax credits. So we're up for recertification with the county, or with the state. And we have been working for the last couple of months with the Ag and Rural Committee. And we have some minor updates to that zoning ordinance just to reflect some of the more recent issues that have been coming up. The first page, we're just showing some updates to references here. And also, this is just a kind of a cleanup political subdivision to the city. The first larger change here is looking at section 22-482. Staff has proposed to have a few more clear requirements for the siting of a new farm residence. This doesn't happen very often, but staff felt like it was important to at least have some standards for that. This is kind of just some cleanup here too to better align with state code, including preparation and sale of beverages and food, kind of just more of a cleanup. The big kind of change that I do want to point out to you, this is something completely new. It's probably the biggest change here in the ordinance, is to allow for the seasonal storage, and that's this one right here. This is the seasonal storage of recreational equipment, motor vehicles, boats. We've heard this for several different times from different people in the farm community that because their barns aren't being used in the same way that they used to, they would like the opportunity to rent storage space of their existing barns. It does not allow them to create a new barn for storage. It would be an accessory use. State law does allow this, and also Dane County does allow this. So staff is proposing to bring forward a change to allow existing farms with existing barns and sheds to be able to store boats, motor vehicles for private individuals as a way to have some income.
I have a question. I don't see here the word existing.
Accessory, the storage. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's here. Existing as of, okay. Do we need to require any permit from the city to these people that are going to have this storage? You know what I mean?
Yes, we do, because that would be a conditional use.
They need to have a conditional use?
This is under the conditional use section.
Oh, okay.
So this is in section 22-483. And so, yes, they would need to come to Plan Commission for a conditional use permit.
Do we also, are going to monitor how big this is a storage, or how do, you know what I mean, like how many?
Yeah, I mean, I think we certainly, if this were to pass, we would certainly, that would be part of the part of the conditional use permit review. They would have to bring forward exactly where they were going to store, how much they were going to store, would be the idea when we bring forward that conditional use permit.
So this is to get an extra revenue.
Yep, it is.
So do we have conditional use here for, where are the solar farm here?
Yep. That is going to help me out.
Oh,
here.
yeah, on number, section 22-483. This one here, okay. 3.
Oh,
Well, it's
yep,
also
right.
permitted.
Number 3. Yeah.
It's also a permitted use.
Oh, this is a,
Oh, it's a permitted use?
where did you see?
Under section 4.
Under the permitted uses.
Oh.
sub
4B.
4.
Oh, as an accessory use. Yep,
Yeah.
it is. Yep.
I have another question because I remember when
Not as a solar farm. They still have to do a conditional use permit.
when
for a
Edgewood
solar farm.
College came to talk to us about, when the idea of building the Edgewood campus on the O'Brien farm. So one of there are some exemptions how you can convert some, farmland to, and it was because it was educational. So the institutional in number 2 is a governmental, institutional, or religious, not-for-profit community. So the institutional is educational organization or is under the not-for-profit? What does it mean, institutional?
Yeah, that would probably mean that.
Okay.
I don't think that that's really going to happen
Controversial?
too much.
Okay.
Because, gosh, I think I'm going to have to go refresh my memory here, but we already did, you did a minor comp plan amendment to change the future land use for Edgewood to that.
Oh, okay.
And we haven't did the zoning, but we will rezone them. We are going to, oh, no, we did, didn't we? We did rezone them already.
So we can have a bed and breakfast establishment too?
That's what's in there.
Oh, okay. Wedding barns
Wedding barns.
are here too? We need that. Stoughton has one that is beautiful.
Oh, do they? Okay.
So we have wedding barns, no?
I don't know. I think that would fall under AS.
Where is that?
AS is small lot agriculture.
Where can you?
That would be in a different section of the code, not in this one.
But it's here. I would like to see that, if we are doing this.
I don't know if that would be in compliance with state code on that
Why?
one. Because we allow the rural residential or the rural events and the wedding barns in AS, small lot agriculture.
But how do other municipalities do it? Can you check on that?
Yes, I can check on that.
Okay, thank you. Because if you are allowing restaurant of any classes and drinking places, I am reading here. I am in the conditional uses for a small lot agricultural district.
Yep. You're not in my AX yet.
Oh, you're okay.
Yep.
I think I was going to say the thing to remember is that this can't be any more liberal than the state law. in order to get the preservation credits.
No, I understand, but I know that there are other municipalities that are allowed those wedding bar in.
I'll check and see if it's in
Okay.
their preservation
Preservation?
zoning.
Right. Oh, okay.
We're only getting certified for that preservation
okay.
zoning part because those are the ones that farmers can apply for the tax credit. So we need to make sure we align with state code.
Okay,
on
that's
that.
fine.
Yeah. But I will check on the wedding barns just to confirm.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to vote on here. Were you looking for other feedback, or was this just for discussion?
Yeah, and we can wrap up. If there's any other questions or anything, you can always reach out to me. Our plan is to send this off to the state for an initial review, just to make sure we're all on track. Make sure they don't have any red flags. So later this week, we will do that.
Okay, if I not hear any other comments or questions, so thank you very much.
Okay.
So next we move to C, Agriculture and Rural Affairs Committee report.
Okay, we met today. We discussed the farmland preservation ordinance, and nobody had any major issues with it. We went over the neighborhood plans. Nobody had big issues other than those that they've already testified to at public hearings, and other than just talking about the wetlands. And the only other issue was, it was reported that the Burn Road Solar Farm has had some erosion issues. So they're on their third redesign now, and it was reported that they think that's the ticket now. And so it's going to prevent the water, I guess, was flowing into the roads. So the committee had been monitoring that issue at that solar farm, and things look okay.
Thank you. Transportation and Transit, Gabriela is not here. Do you have anything to add to your report?
I do. We'll just let you all know that the new community development program coordinator is expecting to start on September 9th. So by the time we meet again, we should have our new person on board. So really excited. And that person will be leading up all the Healthy Neighborhoods programs and helping us build those connections with our communities.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Any question for Diana? No? Okay. Any other announcement? Our next meeting will be September 17.
Yep.
I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Buenas noches.